All right, welcome everyone to another episode. Well, it's a new episode. We're switching over to my book, Uprooting Rejection. But I want to thank all of you who tuned in and watched Characteristics of a Leader. Gotten a lot of questions that I was able to answer, a lot of comments. I really hope that it was edifying and putting those tools to good use. You will find yourself becoming a better leader. We will be going back over that series or that book here in about a month and a half or so once we get through this book, Uprooting Rejection. So get ready, strap your seats or strap your seat belts on for this because it can be very touching. This book basically was what freed me in writing it. It freed me from that spirit of rejection. One of the things that I want to say first and foremost is that abandonment is what has happened to you. Abandonment is what people do. The emotion or response is the rejection. That is the spirit of rejection that comes forth based upon the abandonment that may have taken place in your life. So, as I said, growing up and going through what I went through, that spirit of rejection and the abandonment that took place in my life led me down a road of destruction. It led me down a road of destruction. But as I began to see things from a different viewpoint, begin to work on myself and write this book, it took me a while to write this book because of the emotions that rose up as I was writing the book. So, as I said, it may touch some individuals in a certain way. But know this again, if you take the tools that I have learned and experienced and used for myself, you too can come free of that spirit of rejection. All right. So, rejection and abandonment have taken a major toll on our society. If we look today, we have parents that are working two jobs. They're really not at home. And it's not a point of them wanting to abandon their child, but a child doesn't know any different. They don't know better. They don't know. So they feel abandoned. Consequently, we have a generation of children and adults who are bitter, resentful, brokenhearted, lonely, and confused. Let's look at the world today. We have all of this anger in the upcoming generation, and they're shooting folks. They're getting in fights. They're doing all kind of crazy stuff, stealing cars and running them into buildings and going there and taking whatever they can get. These are the things that are happening today. Why? Because I feel of that spirit of rejection. They have a deep void within them that they can't seem to feel. And I feel that's kind of what they're doing. They're trying to fill the void with drugs, alcohol, behaviors, attitudes, and all these things. But it can't be filled. It can't be filled. This episode is going to be a short episode because it's basically the introduction to the book, so that you guys can understand what we're going to be going through for the next 7 weeks. Okay, so the trauma that's caused by rejection and abandonment has led to record numbers of depression, suicide, broken homes, drug dependency, and incarceration. All of this due to the trauma that is caused through the abandonment that is felt and the rejection that comes upon you. Now, as myself, not understanding these things, I didn't understand why I was getting into the trouble that I was getting to, why I had the attitude that I had, why I seemed to always be angry, why I was punching walls when I would get mad, all these type of things. But today, most of it I can see was due to the trauma that was done to me that caused the rejection to come upon me. Now, this book will help us to overcome abandonment and keep you from feeling the rejection that comes from it. If you take and apply the tools that we'll be going over, if you apply the tools that we'll be coming over. Now, I wrote this book, and in the introduction, I wrote this. This book will explore the spiritual aspect of rejection and abandonment to see how the enemy uses them to kill, steal, and destroy your dreams and your purpose in life. Understand, we all have a purpose in life being here on this earth. You'll learn how they manifest in negative emotions, thought patterns, producing destructive behaviors. We will then teach you how to uproot them and be set free. You'll gain valuable insight to help you attain inner peace and emotional stability. Now, that's something that I think we all wanted. I know it's something that I wanted. I wanted some inner peace because within me it was like something just brewing all the time, and something would happen, and I would snap. I would snap. And that and that peace of mind, ensuring that the trauma ends with you and will not be passed on to the next generation. What do I mean by that? I don't know if you guys are hip to this term, but generational curses. So, as you know, you may have dealt with the spirit of rejection through the abandonment that you have gone through. Your behaviors and attitudes towards your children may be a certain way to where that spirit jumps on them, and it goes on and on and on. Um, I wrote in my book. We'll go over this in a couple weeks, but in the 50s, we had the mother in the house, we had the father, making the bread, and you wake up in the morning, mama have a great breakfast cooked for you. She hand you your lunch. You go off to school. The kids are teasing you. The bully may be chasing you home. You get home, mom's home. She sees something's wrong. She says, "What's wrong, honey?" You tell her. She hugs you, gives you some cookies, tell you to go upstairs and get ready for dinner when dad gets home. See, that was the 50s. Things have changed. Now, the child wakes up, mom and dad both are gone because they both got to work. So they go, they get a bowl of cereal and some milk, if even that, and go on to school. They get bullied and people talking about them and this, that, and the third. So they come on home, mom and dad still at work. They're at home feeling all of these emotions and no one to express what they're feeling. So what do? They try to ease that feeling. So they may go to drugs. They may turn to the people on the streets or on the corners, or friends, someone to help them to deal with the emotions that they have. But mom, she's not in the house no more. See, I look at it as it was a plan. If you take the mother out the house, the nurturer, who's going to nurture the kids? The streets, the television, the Nintendo, the Xbox, all of these things. But the nurturer is no longer in the house. And when the nurturer, the mother, comes home from work, she had a long day's work, but she still got to cook dinner for the family. So she's cooking dinner for the family. The child's like, "Mom, I got something I need to talk to you about." She's like, "Go talk to your dad." Now, dad, he's working. He probably had to go work a little earlier. You go try to talk to dad. Dad's like, "Go talk to your mom." And so back and forth. So that abandonment, you feel like you don't have anyone that will listen to you. So that spirit of rejection comes upon them, and they begin to act out. They begin to act out. All right. Now, do you believe that rejection is a spirit that comes from the trauma of abandonment? Did you ever look at it from that fashion? Again, abandonment is what people do to you. Rejection is the emotion that comes forth from what was done to you. From what was done to you. Okay. You have a lot of women that have been sexually abused by family members or individuals. And, that they go and they share it, but sometimes the mother doesn't believe them, or maybe the mother and father were downstairs, and didn't come up, and they're screaming and things, but the music's going, they're playing cards or doing whatever they're doing, and they don't hear them. That's a big trauma right there. And that abandonment, you weren't there to save me, you weren't there to protect me. These type of things go on a day-to-day basis, and from that spirit of rejection has an open door to come in and begin to affect that young child's life. Now, this book has important tools that, if you use, will uproot rejection out of your life. Guarantee it. It happened to me. I know it can happen to you. I wrote in my book this here. Okay, I wrote this. I will give you some important tools that I have used to bring about deliverance and breakthrough in my own life. If these principles are applied, you'll be able to break the chains of rejection and abandonment just as I have. You can then become a carrier of God's healing power, passing on what you have learned to those who need it most. One of the things we have to understand is when you overcome a spirit, when you overcome the spirit of addiction, when you overcome the spirit of rejection, when you overcome these spirits, that gives you authority over them. So now you have the authority to go forth and assist someone else. Why? Because you overcame it. You overcame it, and you now have authority over that spirit. So it's for you to go forth and share and assist someone else that may be going through that rejection in their life. Why? Because you have the authority over that spirit to assist them in becoming free, assisting them in coming free. Now, as we come out of rejection, I've added a course for parents to break the generational curse on your family. We have to realize and understand that a lot of us adults have not dealt with the abandonment issues that we dealt with and the rejection that we feel. So we're going through life with behaviors and attitudes and traits based upon the spirit of rejection that has overcame us. 5, 10, 15, 20 years of this spirit leading us and guiding us, certain behaviors, things like this. Here, you have some women that can't seem to keep a relationship. You have some men that are using women for their own desires. These type of things, not all, but most of them are attached to the spirit of rejection from the abandonment that took place somewhere in their life. In my book, I wrote this here. I've also designed a course, and I read this just a few minutes ago, of course, to be a resource for parents, teachers, and mentors. Okay. It is my hope that it will help you provide your children, students, and mentorees with the guidance and encouragement they need to live a life of wholeness and purpose, to live a life of wholeness and purpose. As we go into the first chapter, which is called "I Didn't Ask to Be Here." These children they didn't ask to be here. We did the dirty deed and waited 9 months, and here they are. So it's our job to protect them and to give them the love and understanding and nurturing that they need, so that they can go off in this wicked world and navigate through it and be successful. All right. So again, as I stated to you, this episode is going to be really short because I just wanted to introduce to you the book, what we'll be going through. We'll be going through I think it's 7 weeks. Let me see. Excuse me. We'll be going through 10 weeks of this book, one chapter at a time, breaking things down and getting the tools necessary to be able to uproot this spirit of rejection. Okay. So next Tuesday, we'll be going over chapter 1. We'll be going over what is called I Didn't Ask to Be Here. In this book, I shared a lot of my story, my experiences dealing with rejection. Overcoming the spirit gives you authority over it. It's given me authority over it to be able to come forth, write this book, and to assist those that are actually dealing with it. I'm glad to see that there's many of you tuning in. I hope that you make it next Tuesday as we dive in to the book and get some tools to begin to uproot that spirit of rejection in your life. Until then, y'all have a fantastic week. And remember, you can change if you make the change. God bless you.